People, Deluded, I'm back again. Now, we haven't done a transfer video. I haven't spoken about transfers in a while. 90% of transfer rumours that we hear as fans, the ones that don't have any legs to it, is 90% waffle. We're in October, so while I think in the background, not just Arsenal, but teams should be working on January deals and definitely deals to come in effect next summer, the priority is the league, really and truly. But we might as well speak about them. Before we actually get into the Arsenal stuff, two players I actually want to speak about just because I like them as footballers. Raheem Sterling, £70 million plus bail bid allegedly to come from Real Madrid. Now, Real Madrid would I can see why they want to sign Sterling. Obviously, on top of the fact that I'm Raheem Sterling's biggest fan. Before I talk about he's clearly a quality footballer. He's one of the best players in City's team. He's making one of the differences. He can play on the left. His left is the favoured, but he can play on the right. He can potentially play up front, or he can play behind the striker. He's only going to get better. He's only moving mad in front of goal, and he's only going to get better, and he's not going to stop scoring. You've also got to take into consideration marketing. He's one of the most marketable players in the Premier League. You hear him, there's talk he might get a Jordan deal. Obviously, with Real Madrid, do you get it? You've got to have the stars. So there's the scope to sell shirts, the scope to sign another English player, which they haven't done in a while, of top quality, and things like that. Obviously, it allows them to get Bale off the books. He seems to be injury prone. He seems to be on big wages, and they don't seem to favour him, making it a costly player at the moment. There was talk of China. It didn't materialise. I think, obviously, Bale's a good player, and 70 million, Man City, I'd back them to be able to reinvest that and do other things, but I don't think they should sell apologies, people. I don't think they should sell Raheem Sterling. I don't think it'd make no sense. You've also seen Jadon Sancho recently linked with Man United, City, Barcelona and Real Madrid. Surely he's going to be £100 million net when he moves. Being nice, maybe 60, 70 million up front and the rest. United have the facilities to do it. If I was United, I'll go for it. But isn't there, don't Dortmund owe 40% or something to Manchester City if they sell to a Manchester club that isn't theirs? I mean, if City were to sell Sane, for example, would it make sense to bring back Jadon Sancho? Potentially, but there's a lot of humble pie to be eaten. And obviously, I think he's 17, so he's 16, 17, so it might not be for a while. But I do believe, what's his face, Jadon Braff of Manchester City, if he keeps developing in a year or two, he's going to be someone on the lips of getting first team football. So there's that. Moving back to Arsenal now, people, and apparently Real Madrid wants Saliba, or Saliba is on a shortlist in terms of replacing Varane long term. You did hear rumours Varane wanted to leave, but he signed a new deal. He's won the World Cup, he's won the Champions League, he's gone from an 18, 19-year-old from Lens, gradually being integrated into the Real Madrid team, to now one of the linchpins together with Ramos. It wouldn't make much sense. You'd expect him to be the guy to take the mantelpiece, maybe not necessarily captaincy, but the heart of defence if and when the time comes for Ramos. So I don't know. But from an Arsenal perspective, I think Saliba's a long way away based on what I've seen from playing on a regular basis from Real Madrid. But it's testament that someone that was highly sought after, we was able to get them, someone that's not even played for the club and it wouldn't make sense for us to, at least in theory, he's got to do a season at Arsenal before we even consider selling him. It is amazing to hear that Real Madrid are looking at him. Now, let's not get excited with that. Real Madrid have a duty to look at all of the young players, and obviously good old technology cutting out when you're making sense. But like I said, similar to when Varane was bought to Real Madrid from Lens, Saliba at this current moment, different but ticks the boxes. Young, relatively unknown, unearthed sort of gem, unpolished, but the potential is there to get it out of him. So it makes sense. Real Madrid have a duty to scout the best players, and obviously if you're looking for young centre-halves with quality potential in France, Saliba's going to be on your list. Now, this could just be paper talk, but it's a good look. For me, Saliba should take confidence from that, in that he's not the player we believe he can be of tomorrow, but it is a good look that Real Madrid are looking at you, and you should use that to be filled with confidence when you come to Arsenal. Obviously, Saliba's not played for Arsenal. I want him to stay here and forever if he becomes the player I believe he can be. But we all know the cycle of football. If he becomes the player that we believe he could be, Guendouzi does, and a couple of the rest of them, then you'd expect the Real Madrids and these teams to be monitoring them eventually, if and when the time comes. Away from that, apparently Real Madrid want to loan out for Seniors Junior, who we were linked with in the summer. Apparently they want to loan him out in January, in which Arsenal and AC Milan are interested. It's Vinicius Junior. Who wouldn't? He could do a job up front. He's skillful. He's got a lot of potential that's not been unearthed. He's very skillful. We could utilise his skill set for half a season. I believe in his ability, but when I look past the fact of that he's Brazilian, that he's got potential and all the things I like, would it make sense to develop him for Real Madrid? Because we've got, again, I do think he could do a job as a third striker for Aubameyang and Lacazette, but you've got Martinelli, you've got Pepe and Nelson on the right. On the left, you've obviously got XHAKA now, and I'm missing someone else out. Martinelli can do his job there. So there is a case for him to get games as one of the wide men. But is it really to the point where we have to break? If we're not going to sign a man permanently, why are we going to kind of give us... We've got balance, but why are we going to kind of give ourselves more problems when somebody's not going to be here permanently, despite the fact of me liking him? When I've seen him for Real Madrid, he's looked all right, but he has looked like a youngster that's not ready yet. And him and Wadrago, they're not ready yet. It's even that Brahim Diaz who left City to go to Real Madrid, they're not ready yet. Like, they need to be given a chance, but they're not ready yet. So yeah, you know, it's even if you're at the peak of your careers and the best player you can potentially be, a lot of people fell at Real Madrid at Barca. But for these young players, they're going to have to take their time. Look at Odegaard. People written him off at 16, 17 because he's been around since he's 14. But he's doing his thing at Sociedad. And there's a lot of talk of him coming back to the club next season and being part of the change and the turnaround Real Madrid are trying to introduce. Moving on from that, people, apparently Arsenal and Manchester United are interested in Juventus centre-half EMERY'S Demiral. Apparently he's open to a move in January if he cannot break into Sarri's side. Apparently Juventus are not keen on selling him, says Dean Jones. Now, he's a centre-half. I've seen a bit of him before he went to Juventus. I swear he went in the summer. He's an okay centre-half. He's just joined Juventus. Would he really want to leave? If potentially we can get a loan sort of thing done, then why not, man? He's a decent defender. Apparently we also want, or we better yet, Liverpool, United and Arsenal have held discussions with Dennis Zakaria's agents over a potential move from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now, for me, you saw over a year ago I made a video about him. I think he's a good tackler. I think he could be a decent imposer in the midfield. I think looking at him now, he's become a bit more box to box and a bit more open in his play. One thing is his passing. His passing is quite limited, but it has improved. He's never going to be a goal scorer, and I don't have the statistics to hand, but I'm sure in the last 18 months he's chipped in with a couple of goals and assists more so than I saw when he initially, when I came across him, people. I would take him. We can get rid of one Swiss lad and bring in a midfielder who's decent. This guy knows his skill set. He'll break down play. He'll distribute it to the players that need be. He likes to get into the box at times, and even though he's not a goal scorer, at times he pops up with some important contributions. Because of his form, and I don't know his contract length, but because of his form and how he's been playing, and the fact that I just see Liverpool, United, Arsenal, speaking to representatives, a bit of that stinks of, okay, his agents want him to sign a new deal. There could be truth to this, and there probably is. But obviously the job of the media is to exaggerate the truth, and for me it stinks of representatives trying to get their client a new contract, people. Is what it is. I'm not too sure I believe this at all, but apparently Arsenal and Spurs are ready to lock horns to sign Benfica left-back Alex Glimundo. I would love them, people. I mean, him and Tierney in the squad together, two quality left-backs to compete, is what we all want. A lot of that would have to depend on if we are able to sell Kolasinac or get him off the wage bills, because it wouldn't make sense to bring in a third left-back. To be fair, from an Arsenal perspective, regardless of my opinion on Kolasinac, we've just brought a left back in. We've got Kolasinac who's 24, 25. Does it make sense to break the bank based on what's said on another left back when we could potentially invest in another centre half? I know we've got one next season and we've bought one this year. Could we potentially go for some other areas in the team that need more immediate attention? I'm not too sure. Us and City have also been linked with Isco for £60 million. Now, Isco is 27 years of age. He's barely playing this season. Would it make sense to come to Arsenal? Potentially. We probably couldn't afford him. Well, we probably could, but permanently it's going to be an expensive outlay. You'd like to believe, again, we're in talks with Aubameyang and Lacazette in regards to trying to sign a new deal, but you'd like to think his agents, if I'm his agents and I hear that, I want what they're allegedly going to get or what you've kind of offered them on the table, or I want kind of what Ozil's got, especially if I'm stepping from Real Madrid to Arsenal, which are competing in the Europa League, which are not going to win the Premier League and all of these things. The first thing is to go and play football and feel loved again, but if I'm going to join Arsenal, certain things need to happen. That's not me being pessimistic, people, that's just me putting myself in Isco's shoes, and that's the real. It would be an expensive outlay for us in terms of his wages, his package. He's 27 or so he'd want to get a good deal as well, rightly so. And obviously he's a quality footballer. We lack creative players or players with that skill set. It would make sense. He's 27, number of years left in him. 60 million, I don't see us spending that. He's been linked with City, Arsenal versus City. If both teams put an offer and they get accepted, I know which one I'm accepting, and I'm an Arsenal fan, and it's not the Arsenal Football Club. So is Manchester City, people. So I don't know how much truth there really is in that. We've been linked with Mario Götze again, people, which has been going on since 2011, really. So make of that what you want. I don't think we've been linked with anybody else necessarily, people. No, we haven't. So there's not really any need to harp on or speak about such. So yeah, people. But in fact, moving on, we can speak about something, people. I did see some reports online that I was able to grab. Apparently, EMERY'S still has credit in the bank from reaching May's Europa League final, helping youngsters Guendouzi and XHAKA emerge while facilitating Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's prolific form. This is of James Oiley in relation to why EMERY will not be sacked now. The players let us down in the Europa League final, but again, a lot of it can be placed in terms of tactics. And that fashion, how we lost that final alone, isolated to the final, should have warranted being sacking. Okay, cool, we can give him credit for Guendouzi and Saka. At the end of the day, Saka came from the academy, he's playing him. Guendouzi was identified by Mislintat, former Don here, and EMERY'S using him from day dot, so give him credit. I'm not too sure about facilitating Aubameyang's prolific form because we're not playing like an attacking side. It's just a case of Aubameyang being a terrific player. There's just certain players, you put them in every situation, they're going to score goals. Pardon me, so I'm not too sure in that. Our last 18 Premier League games, people, read, in regards to Everton, we lost. Watford lost. That was 2 away games. Home at Palace lost. Wolves and Leicester away, 2 L's. Brighton a draw. Burnley a win. Newcastle a win. Burnley a win. Liverpool a L. Draws against Watford and Spurs this season. We beat Villa after coming from behind. Draw against Manchester United. We beat Bournemouth, but we weren't really at it. Sheffield was poor and we got a loss, and we've drawn our last 2 games. So this is poor form in our last 18 games, and a lot, you can't just blame the players for that. A lot of that is down to EMERY, people. At the end of the day, I'll preview the game when it comes, but we've got Leicester away, people. That's going to be a difficult game. We cannot afford to feel sorry for ourselves. We're in a bad run of form. I do believe the saying, it's got to get worse before it gets better, but we cannot feel sorry for ourselves, because even if we don't feel sorry for ourselves, we're probably going to get battered against them away from home. But if these players and this manager want top 4, it's like water under a bridge. We've lost these games now. Get back on track, put a winning run together. It's easier said than done, but only these players and this manager can pull themselves out of it. It's down to them. I'm of the point now where we was a bit more confident in relation to top 4. But for me, the players and the manager have to put a run and form together to inspire the fans, because I don't feel no Arsenal fan, honestly, if they're 100% honest, looks at how we're playing, looks at this squad and says they're going to get top 4 based on how they're playing. It's not. So it's down to the players to motivate the fans now, because the fans will always support, but we're very pessimistic now. We've got Leicester away, we've got Norwich away after that. We've got Brighton and West Ham. We've also got Manchester City, people. The December period, we've got Everton in no order. Everton away, Crystal Palace away, Manchester United and Chelsea to come as well. And Chelsea and United, forgive me if I'm wrong in the new year, if I haven't included this. We're on 5 points, people. 17 points. Chelsea are 4th with 23. We've got it all to do. These players cannot afford to feel sorry for themselves, because we will drop more points this season, people. We will. It's naive to suggest that we won't. So they can't feel sorry for themselves. And if I think I've got some other statistics, people, to make sense of what I've just said. Our next games from the 15th of December until the 21st of January are Manchester City at home, Everton away, Bournemouth away, Chelsea at home. Now, a lot of people will just focus on them 2 top 6 sides, rightly so. Bournemouth away has been a trick. We've won there, but it's always never straightforward for an Arsenal fan. Everton away, we've won there, but it's never straightforward as an Arsenal fan, and I expect a convincing performance there. Manchester United at home, fair enough, we beat them last year at home, but it's a top 6 game, you never know how they're going to get. Crystal Palace under UNAI seems to be a difficult team to play, and they were a difficult team anyways. We all know what happened last season, Crystal Palace away. We all know what happened the season before that at Crystal Palace away. So they need to put in a performance. Sheffield United come to our place at this moment in time. Whether when we play them, it might be a different story, but they're having a good season. They're unbeaten away from home. If they come with that same sort of mentality, they're going to get something in that game. And on top of that, they've already beaten Arsenal and had Arsenal out of the game from the first minute. So they should be bullish in regards to their chances. And then we've got Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. When was the last time we won there in the league? When was that? I can't remember, people. So these players have got it all to do. There's no time to feel sorry for yourselves. If you want top 4, they've got to go out and get it, people. They have to go out and get it. Away from that, people, as well, quick news on, well, firstly, Kiddo Taylor-Hart sadly is going to be out for a couple of months with injury in our academy, but also there's been changes at youth level. Steve Morrow has been axed by Arsenal following a planned restructuring of the club's academy recruitment department. Do you know how many letters I sent Steve Morrow, my guy? Those of you that are old enough to remember can remember him playing for the club. I sent him so many letters in regards to scouting in Arsenal, and he didn't reply to any of them. The only scout that's ever replied to me is Bob Arbor, and I believe he's at Norwich now, formerly of Arsenal, and I'd love to meet that man one day, because, yeah, man, he didn't have to do that. Apparently, to go along with that, among those are believed to be the people that got axed: former Chelsea forward David Lee, Kevin Bidell and Dan Rice, who all held recruitment positions at the club. It doesn't specify what level they were. Steve Morrow was quite a high-ranking official, so that shows me there's obviously going to be restructuring, but what type? Are we going to poach individuals from within? Are we going to take, I don't know, ex-people who have worked at City or Chelsea and they or whatever, and they're going to come into Arsenal? Are we going to promote people that have to put people from within into these positions that have been axed? Are we going to bring in people from overseas? I don't know, an Ajax or something with a different sort of model? What are we moving to in that regards, people? And I do believe Steve Morrow is Hale End. I don't know. I don't even actually know if he's full-time with the under-18s and stuff, or if his all the work interlaps. But I do believe, or I could be wrong, primarily his job was Hale End up until under-16. So I don't know, but it's exciting times, because I think we've done good work at youth level with the scholars to come next season, with the scholars this season, and with just the quality of player. But it is what it is, man. I've got to go now, people. It's almost 8 o'clock. I've got to go get some toast and then go on the Victoria line and squash up with everyone to go and earn a living, people. Thank you for watching. DG, I'm out. Comment, subscribe, and do the rest.